On today's show, a major cell phone provider says they're the first carrier to automatically block all those annoying robocalls. It can't come soon enough. I have all the details you need to know. And how about a crazy high-tech smartwatch that turns your arm or hand into a fully functional touchscreen? You can tap and swipe directly on your skin to reply to a text or, say, check the weather. You don't want to miss it. Plus, you have to meet a great 8-year-old boy who, instead of playing video games, spends his time raising money for a ballistic vest for his local police department. We'll hear the inspiration behind his desire to help. And finally, in today's DIY security, how do you know if your phone's really safe from hackers, scammers, and snoops? Well, you've come to the right place. I'll tell you exactly how to check. All this plus more digital know-how, and of course your phone calls here on Komando. Let's start with something everyone can agree on. We hate robocalls, but they keep coming. And get this, about 29 billion, yes, I did say billion, robocalls have been placed in the U.S. this year through June. That's about 90 robocalls per person. From the better late than never department, one of the big four carriers will automatically block robocalls. AT&T is rolling out a free update to their Call Protect service. Kind of like how your email tries to filter spam, AT&T's system tries to block the calls, or at least tell you if an incoming call could be spam. AT&T already blocks calls if you opt in through your account settings or download their Call Protect app. Now you won't have to do a thing, unless, of course, you like robocalls, in which case you can opt out of the free service. Verizon and T-Mobile have similar ways to block calls, but you also have to opt in. T-Mobile is supposed to be better at identifying spam calls, but they're going to charge you $3 a month for something that may or may not work. So, good news. Robocalls may be coming to an end, so there should only be a few billion robocalls between now and then. All right, moving on to the next great smartphone. Even though Samsung can't figure out how to ship their hyped-up Galaxy Fold without it breaking in 2 seconds, another big company might be ready to unveil their take on a foldable phone. A Twitter user by the name of Max J has a pretty reliable track record when it comes to leaking news about upcoming gadgets. Now, this time, he says Sony has their own flexible phone on the way, but it's not what you might expect. Instead of folding in half, the Sony phone would roll up like a scroll. Max J says it could launch by the end of this year or the beginning of 2020. And if you can't trust a Twitter user named Max J, who can you trust? All right, even if this leak turns out to be bogus, it's no less missing in action than Samsung's Galaxy Fold. Now Samsung says they've fixed the screen problems, but they still haven't given any indication when it might actually be released. Hey, if Samsung folds on the idea, it could be Sony that's rolling with the next must-have phone. And speaking of tech progress, if you look at the past several years, there's been a big push to eliminate the need to carry a wallet. We've got Google Pay, Apple Pay, and the other digital payment services. And you don't have to worry about losing your tickets to concert, games, or other venues anymore because they can scan your phone at the gate. If you take the subway in New York City now, you can scan your phone at the turnstile. So a bunch of states are working on pilot programs to get your driver's license into digital form. Convenient, right? Yeah, but at a cost. Let's say you get pulled over. You have to hand your phone to the police officer. What else might they access intentionally or by accident? The same goes for any situation where you have to hand over your ID. Then there's the other digital elephant in the room. If your phone battery dies, you don't have a charger when you get pulled over, is that the same thing as, say, leaving your driver's license at home? Or is that just a cop-out? All right, while we're on the topic of police, high-tech tracking helped solve a case involving a high school prank in Maryland, as detailed in a recent Washington Post report. 4 teenage boys on the eve of their graduation last year decided to tag the outside of their school with spray paint. At first, they apparently planned to spray Class of 2018 on the wall, but they didn't stop there. The boys ended up spray painting more than 100 offensive signs, slurs, and drawings on the walls and sidewalks outside the school late that night. They knew that there were security cameras, so they wrapped T-shirts around their faces. But these brain trusts didn't take into account their phones, because when they used the school's Wi-Fi, their phones automatically logged on whenever they arrived on campus. The school's network logs the unique IDs of anyone who connects, and all 4 were busted the next morning at the graduation ceremony and slapped with several charges. A dumb prank that got a nice set of handcuffs to go along with that diploma. And finally, you know those popular gender reveal parties used to be cute party poppers, maybe even a special cake that's pink or blue on the inside. That's not good enough for everyone. And now you'll see things like gender reveal cannons, fireworks, or the one here in Arizona a couple of years ago that led to a 47,000-acre wildfire. Well, apparently, gender revealing burnouts using your car is really popular in Australia. Instead of the boring gray smoke you usually get from doing burnouts, it's pink or blue. All right, it's clever. And this guy thought it would be a good idea to do burnouts on a public road with people cheering him on. But the smoke wasn't blue for long. The underside of the car just burst into flames. He managed to get out of the car, only to decide to get back in and run away again because, it was still on fire. Anyway, police got involved and got their hands on a drone video of the whole thing and decided to release it as a kind of don't try this at home reminder. For our listeners and viewers in Australia, you're not electing a new pope. Stop with the smoke bombs already. The Kim Komando radio show, you can find it on, 400 top stations around the country and around the globe on American Forces Network Radio. And as a talk radio show, callers are super important. And manning the phone calls week after week in the Kim Komando show Man Cave is our very own Andrew Babinski. I always feel like we need a drum roll when I say Andrew Babinski. Maybe if we ever increase our budgets, we could afford that sound effect.
Put it right on the list of the other thousands of things that we want to do. Did you see the story out of Russia? There's this lake that influencers, Instagrammers, they love to take pictures on because of the different colors.
Oh, I think I did see it. It's kind of like bluish.
Yes.
Because it's all over Instagram.
And Russia's come out and said they don't want anyone taking any more pictures there.
Why? Because it's are they overcoming and they're overwhelming on the lake?
It's toxic.
It's toxic?
Yes.
So you have all these Instagram influencers?
One guy said he's not worried about it. He's still going to take pictures there because they turn out really good, and he doesn't mind having 3 eyes. No big deal.
No big deal. You know what? There's probably a sponsor for that somewhere along the road. Hey, we have a really fabulous show for you today. We're going to take a look at what could be the smartwatch of the future. And I have a must-see DIY tip that's going to help you keep your phone safe from hackers and snoops. All this and much more here on Komando. You can Google anything, but to get my trusted advice, there's only one place to go. Visit my website, komando.com. Whenever you need a digital hand, I'm waiting there right for you. It's hard to attract a lot of attention online. So what a lot of companies are doing right now is that they're running sweepstakes and contests online. And you might be sitting there thinking to yourself, who ever wins these things? Well, that's why I wanted to bring Carolyn Willman on the Kim Komando show today, because Carolyn's not only a winner, right, Carolyn, but you have a whole strategy behind your winnings. And welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So how much have you won?
Since I started almost 20 years ago, and I've won over $250,000 in prizes. But I know people that have won far more than me, that have passed the $1 million mark over 20, 25 years.
So what was the greatest thing that you won?
I like to think it was when it was still being filmed. We went to England for the weekend, and we had a party on the Harry Potter set.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And that was really cool.
I bet. What did you have to do to win that?
That one was submitting an entry form online to our local paper. And it ran for a week, and I was entering every day, and we got lucky. One of them was picked.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you still enter a lot of contests?
Not as much as I'd like. I'm busy, actually. I'm an entrepreneur, and I work with companies on running sweepstakes. So I get to sit on both sides of the table. But I enter every day. I can't go a day without entering.
So I understand that you can enter some 200 contests in an hour. How the heck do you do that?
Well, the first thing you have to do is be organized. And it depends on the contest. So some of them take a little longer than others. But the idea is you use form-filling software such as RoboForm that will fill the form and save it for you. So it makes it a little more automated. But you can't use an automation system or a bot, because that's against the rules.
Now, how do you actually find the best sweepstakes?
I use aggregates because other people have already done the work for you.
Nice.
Right. So there's lots of websites out there. I have some resources on my website that list them all. There's too many to list. And I tell people, go to the different ones, see who's got the format you like, see what style suits you, and then they post legitimate sweepstakes open to your region, because there's ones for all over the world.
And is that a strategy of yours, is to enter maybe like local sweepstakes that wouldn't have as many entries as, say, something that's global in nature?
Right. I call it concentric circles. So I tell people to start at their local, and then state, and then maybe tri-state or national, and then worldwide. So your odds of winning are always going to be better when you're entering close by.
Now, anytime you enter a contest, you know that you have to agree to a lot of terms and conditions. And quite often, that's giving up an email address. And so I think you're really smart that you use a unique email address. Now, is that just for all your contesting, or is that per contest?
No, I just set up a separate email address just for entering giveaways. And I do that just to keep it separate from work and personal. You don't want, your emails from Aunt Millie to get mixed in with a contest win. And it also helps cut down on spam. Although I do tell people, if you're on the internet, you have to protect your computer, whether you're entering sweepstakes or not.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just have to be careful anywhere you go online. Now, what about taxes?
Taxes it depends. That's where it's a little tricky, because you probably would pay less tax than you think, because it's all based on your income. So if you have a low income, then you're not going to have a high tax on a prize. And so I say go for it. Enter what you want to win and worry about the taxes after. Win it first. That's a problem for another day.
I like that. So in a given month, how many contests can you win per month?
I usually win anywhere between 5 and 15. Now that sounds like a lot, but you got to remember, a lot of them are little. I'm doing one right now online in my local area, and they're giving away small prizes every day. And when you enter, you're in the drawing for a big prize. So I picked up 2 bottles of water today and a drink at the local convenience store. So technically those are wins, but that's only $5 worth of prizes right there.
I was going to say that seems to be like a lot of work to do for like 2 bottles of water, but you're hoping for the bigger prize.
Right. It's, yes, I was the bridesmaid, but one day I'll be the bride and I'll win. But just last week, I won concert tickets and a night out for my sweetie. So I've got date night all planned out. It's going to be great.
So you mentioned that you're an entrepreneur, but you're not winning enough to totally like live off of it, right?
No, you can't control luck. So I might win 3 prizes this week, small ones, and then 1 biggie, and then nothing for a month. And then, you can't count on your wins. And then a lot of them are consumable. Like I've got concert tickets. So I tell people it's a cheap trip or a cheap night out. So what I say is sweepstaking enhances your lifestyle. It doesn't replace your lifestyle. And I'm also a consumer. I always tell people support the sponsor.
Well, that's also very good advice. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I love teaching people how to win because it is so much fun.
Well, $250,000 in winnings, that's pretty impressive. And if you have a story that you'd like to share with us here, just go over to the website, komando.com. And at the bottom of every single page, there's a link that says Contact Us. So, Andrew.
Yes.
I read about this Detective Moulton in Belmont, New Hampshire, and I'm so thrilled that we got her on the show with us.
This call sounds like a movie.
It does.
It's one detective in a small town trying to track down the cyber stalker.
There were 23 identified victims.
That's crazy.
Detective Moulton, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the case.
So back in 2013, we started having young ladies that attended the local high school come in and state that they had someone by the name of Seth contacting them through their phones and asking them to send nude photos of themselves. And if they didn't do so, he was going to hack into their Facebook pages and take all their pictures and everything that they had on there. And he was successfully able to do that. Many of them did not want to explain to their parents what had happened, and they decided that I'll just send the nude photos of myself and hopefully this guy will go away. Well, he didn't go away. He continued to ask for more and more pictures. So one girl decided that she had had enough and that she needed to come in and explain what had happened to her. Slowly but surely, we had more and more come in.
Wow. I mean, and there were 23 victims. Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you able to actually do like cell phone records and subpoena to figure out who Seth was, or how did that happen?
So initially when the young ladies came in and showed us the text messages that they were getting, they were just telephone numbers. And when you would dial the telephone numbers, they would come back to nothing. One young lady was able to capture by screenshotting the number as it came in. On the bottom, it said text free or text plus. When you sign on to these accounts, you can use any telephone number that you want to pick.
Wow.
You can even use a telephone number that was already in use.
You could? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I played around with it for a little bit and realized that this was an issue. So we sent them subpoenas, and of course they came back with fraudulent information. They were, just not true information about the person. They just led to nowhere.
So how long did it take you to get to that point?
It took probably a good 3 to 4 months before I was able to get to that point. And by that time, we probably had about 10 girls come in to say that this had happened to them.
That must have been so heart-wrenching. Thanks to you, Seth is now in prison with the help of the feds. How long is he there?
I believe he got about 8 years.
Oh, so for anybody who's listening, because we have parents and grandparents, and we do have folks in their 20s and 30s, and if you get something like this, what's your best advice?
My best advice is that they communicate with their children. Be aware of what the young adults in your house are using for social media, online applications. Be aware that they can access this stuff through their gaming consoles.
Yeah, that's
and
a lot of people don't realize that. They think that the Xbox is just, we're just playing Fortnite. And if you do get a request for a naked photo, what should they do? If a teenager gets that?
They should notify an adult, and they can also notify their local law enforcement agency. In some states, that is a crime in itself, depending on how old you are.
Well, you know what, Detective, thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to put a link to the whole story, because I'll tell you, folks, if you want to read something that's going to just make you shake your head, this is it. Thanks again, Detective, for all of your hard work there in Belmont, New Hampshire.
Kim says, I have no chance this week on Brand New or Not True. Not happening. I'm taking her down. Next on Komando.
All right, if you have a Kindle, you're in for a special treat because, well, you can get all of my ebooks right there. From making money to online dating, all you have to do is on your Kindle search for my name, Kim Komando. That's with a K, of course. And it is time for Brand New or Not True. That's right, it's America's favorite national radio game show sensation, where every week Andrew and we pit our minds against each other. And I don't have to really say that, I just won last season, and we're just going to play a few rounds just for fun.
Sure.
So for all of our new listeners, is that there are 3 products, 2 are fake, 1 is real.
Correct.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm focused.
Are you focused?
I'm gonna follow every word you say carefully.
Okay, number 1. Have you ever thought that you're putting too much salt on your food?
I did. I thought about that.
Wonder no more, because now we have the smart salt shaker called Smalt. It stands 6 inches high and 3 inches around. Now, Smalt promotes, they say, a healthy lifestyle. It's a good tool for wanting to control your sodium intake. The Smalt shaker works with an app that lets you simply shake, pinch, or choose a measurement of salt right from your smartphone, or use Alexa or the device itself.
So I have to pick up my phone, say how much salt I want, send that to the shaker, and then shake the shaker to get that amount of salt.
Well, yeah, you could use your phone. Yes, exactly. That's how it works. Or you could say, Alexa, just a pinch of salt from my Smalt, please.
Smalt.
But wait, there's more, because Smalt is also an interactive gadget.
Sure.
You can play your favorite music through the Bluetooth speaker or set the ambiance with a color-changing light.
Smalt, please play Salt and Pepper. Thank you.
The Smalt is $99 and is brought to us by a company called Herb and Body.
$99 for a salt shaker?
It's a smart whatever. Salt shaker. That's what it is. Are you ready for number 2?
I am.
Ever wonder if a really expensive bottle of wine is any good? Thanks to the new wine sulfometer designed for wealthy wine connoisseurs and sommeliers, that's a thing of the past. The sulfometer doesn't just measure sulfites, but the pH, the acidity, and the sugar balance of the wine. Here's how it works. You place the wine sulfometer into the wine bottle, which is made of BPA-free plastic, silicone, and rubber. It gently cradles the open bottle of wine, submerging just 2 centimeters. Next, you scan the QR code on the wine bottle using the app. The wine sulfometer app will tell you all the important statistics, but the app will also keep track of any wine that you consume. You can rate wine, and also the app will give you recommendations on new wines.
What's the product's name?
The wine sulfometer.
Sulfometer?
Sulfometer.
So we got the Smalt and the Smallfometer?
I don't know.
All right.
Sells for $99 and it's brought to you by Luray-Tech. Number 3. Have you ever wondered if you're smoking? I just noticed that I opened up everyone with, have you ever wondered?
I do. I do a lot of wondering.
Have you ever wondered if you're smoking too much pot?
No.
Okay.
I smoke the right amount of pot.
What is the right amount of pot?
Are you high? That's the right amount of pot.
So you've never wondered this?
Never.
All right. The new THC home monitor works with like the latest diabetic monitors. It checks your THC levels with a scan instead of a finger prick or a little bit of blood. The small sensor is about the size of 2 stacked quarters and can be scanned discreetly even through your clothing. You can even scan the sensor with your smartphone, and each scan takes less than a second, provides the current THC rating, a trend arrow, and an 8-hour history. Brought to you by a company called 420 Haze.
Ooh, that's an interesting name of a company.
I predict that one would fail because anyone who needs it, they're just going to forget to go buy it.
You're going to predict if it was the real one, it would fail.
Yeah, so you have the Smalt, the smart salt shaker.
Right.
The wine sulfometer.
Sure.
Or the THC home monitor. Which product is real?
I'm leaning towards the Smalt shaker being the real product. The one issue I have is playing my music through it. That doesn't make any sense. To put a speaker on a salt shaker, I think you went a bit too far with that. So I'm going to say the wine monitor is the real product of the 3.
Okay, so the wine sulfometer.
Correct.
Okay, let's go to our judges.
Meet Smalt, the world's first interactive centerpiece that enhances your dining experience. Smalt has a sleek and portable design, features a built-in mood light to set the ambience, and it's a smart salt dispenser.
Stupid is what it is. Why do you need a speaker in your salt shaker?
I think it's totally stupid.
What a waste of money.
The future for smartwatches is here, and wait until you see what one manufacturer has up their sleeve. Next, here on Komando. I've always wanted to be a superhero. I mean, I have the name for it, Kim Komando. And if I were a superhero, I would fly around in this future tech. A company called Gravity Industry built a real jet suit that works the way Iron Man's suit does in the popular movie franchise. And these jet suits are pretty slick. Now, the key word here is suit, because it's not just a high-tech flying backpack. These exoskeleton suits have turbines mounted on the pilot's back and their arms. The turbines on the back keep the balance during the flight, while the ones on your arms make you fly forward. The 60-pound suit also lets you take off and land vertically, and the helmet has a heads-up display. That's the really cool part, but there are limitations. For one, they're obviously pretty bulky due to the twin turbines on each arm, and they can only stay up in the air for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. And you're going to need to be as wealthy as Iron Man because they're going to sell for $250,000 each. Just think how impressed your friends will be with that entrance at the next get-together. Hopefully, they don't live very far away. Now, here's something else you just got to see. It's a smartwatch, but no matter if you have an Apple Watch, Android Wear, Fitbit, Garmin, or any other, this one is completely different. It's called the Watch, and it was created by researchers at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. This watch is special because it has a tiny projector built into the side that basically turns your arm into a touchscreen. No more trying to tap the right teeny tiny buttons on the watch screen or casing. Now you have big virtual graphics on your arm where you can tap and swipe just like you would on your phone. If it does make it into production, it's expected to cost around $600. Now, to be fair, the Watch isn't the first smartwatch with a projector. That crown belongs to the company Haier, but their watch projects a smaller image onto your hand and doesn't have touch capabilities. So you can text, check the weather, and play music right on your arm. And if the virtual clock doesn't work, maybe it just needs a hand. All right, I have another unique smartwatch to tell you about, but this one's not quite as cool as the one that turns your arm into a screen. So you've got companies on the trendy bandwagon trying to develop a phone you can unfold into a tablet, right? Well, IBM will see your phone and raise you a smartwatch. They're working on a watch with a screen that can unfold to the size of a smartphone screen, and then even further into a full-size tablet. The patent was published in June and describes a smartwatch that's all screen, no bezels. Then there are all the other displays neatly folded underneath, and once activated, the one screen can quickly convert to 2, 4, or 8 small panels. And with all 8 unfolded, you've got a 12 by 8-inch tablet hanging off your wrist. So while most smartwatches you see are more Dick Tracy in design, this one in the future definitely has Inspector Gadget written just all over it. All right, maybe you've played Pokemon Go on your phone or used some new Google Lens features because unlike smart glasses, augmented reality has caught on. And in this future tech, AR is built into swim goggles called Form. One side of the goggles is just a little bigger because, well, the AR tech and batteries got to go somewhere. Now you're probably wondering why anyone would need AR swim goggles. The answer is, these are meant for people who exercise by swimming and for competitive swimmers. Once on your face, you can choose what appears on the lens screen, like stroke rate, distance, pace, and a few other metrics. After the swim, those results are fed into a companion app. This is way past prototype stage. The Form goggle is already in production and expected to debut for $200, with a companion app for both iOS and Android. The battery is supposed to last 16 hours, but you probably shouldn't stay in the water that long. You might go off the deep end. All right, coming up, I'll talk to an amazing 8-year-old boy who wanted to help out his local police department. With the help of some serious people, he was able to fetch more than he anticipated. I'll explain it all next here on Komando. Well, all of us here at the Kim Komando Show, we love and admire our service personnel, and we also love and admire our dogs. And so when I read about Brady and Leah and what they're doing with canines and police officers and technology from Northeast Ohio, I said, we have got to get them on the air. And our production crew tracked them down. Hi there, Brady and Leah. Thanks for joining us.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
So tell us, Leah, how did you guys get started in putting together this whole campaign to find canine vests for police officers?
It all started when Brady was watching one of his favorite shows, Live PD, and he noticed that a dog wasn't wearing a vest, and he couldn't understand why the dogs weren't wearing a ballistic vest like the human partner was. And as I told him that not all canines are protected because they're very expensive, and most canines teams are self-funded, so they don't have the extra funds to do that. Well, he wanted to put a change to that and asked me if we could buy a vest for a local dog, and here we are.
You know, I was really surprised to read that the canine vests are self-funded. For some reason, I just thought that, you know, when we would buy the cams for the police officers and the dash cams and everything else, that the dogs would naturally be protected as well. How much is a vest?
Ours, with our foundation, ours costs $1,200. They start at that. We provide the patches for the officers, and so it varies each vest depending on the patches that the officer needs. But they start at $1,200, and that's for this vest. Though I'm sure you could get cheaper ones out there, but we love to give a full service vest. So.
I hear the dog in the background.
Yes, he just put his ball under the TV stand, and that's him wanting to get it out.
Okay. That's actually really funny. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the technology behind the vest keeps the dog cool, and it's all temperature controlled. What else does it do?
Absolutely. So it covers his vital organs only. That way it allows full movement of the canine, so his agility isn't screwed up by having a heavy, bulky vest on him. The vest also has a built-in tracking harness, so that when the handler has to bring his canine on a track, he doesn't have to remove his vest. It's all built in right here.
How much does the vest weigh?
It averages around 3 pounds. It's custom made for the dog, so the average is about 3 pounds, which is the lightest that we've seen on the market.
Brady, do you want to go play with your dog right there?
I can give him the
It's
the ball.
okay. No, it's okay. Actually, it's fine. So Brady, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about putting all these vests on the dogs? When you get enough money to donate a vest for a dog and you get to actually give it to the trainer, how does that make you feel inside?
I'm happy that I protect the canines and they're safe. Yeah. Yeah, I love protecting the dogs.
And so how many vests have you distributed thus far?
101. We vested 101 canines.
And then how are you raising money for these vests?
I raised money for canines with selling candy bars or people donating to me on my website.
How many police officers right now are in need of vests?
We have 63 sitting on our waiting list right now that have reached out to us.
Wow,
and they go from all over the United States, and we even have one in Afghanistan on the U.S. Army that actually does not have a vest, which is crazy. He's a bomb dog.
That is crazy that he doesn't have one. Really, seriously.
I know. I know.
And so you're selling candy bars, and how else are you raising money for this?
I sell patches and T-shirts.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
We have a fundraiser coming up at a local restaurant. Most of it is us just reaching out to people to see if they would love to donate to his fund. Businesses, organizations, they can actually sponsor a vest. So if they purchase a vest, their name gets put on it, and it's a win-win for both the business and the dog.
Well, we're definitely going to post a link to your organization at Komando.com for all of our viewers and listeners around the globe that would like to donate. But I would especially like to donate myself. And so for the dog in Afghanistan, you can count on the Kim Komando Show for that dog. But I'd also like to donate in total $10,000 cash so that this way you guys can purchase some vests. How does that sound?
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Kim, that is amazing. And what a wonderful gift. You're going to make so many handlers happy. I can't even tell you, especially the officer that's out in Afghanistan that reached out to us. That's so nice of you.
Oh, it's an honor and pleasure. I'm so proud of you, Brady. All of us here at the Kim Komando Show, we really are. And now, at some point, you guys are going to have to come to Phoenix and say hello and come to the studios, okay?
Absolutely. We would love to visit you. And in Phoenix, we've never been there, so.
Well, I will warn you,
fun.
It's a little hot sometimes. Today, it's going to be 114 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
kind of crazy.
That's why the canines need this vest out there instead of that heavy-duty thing. Keep them cool.
Well, again, we're so proud of you. Congratulations on your success thus far. I think, Brady, you've got a bright, bright future ahead of you. I mean, a lot of kids your age are just sitting around playing Fortnite, and you're not doing that. You're making a difference in so many people's lives, okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.
And you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is an example of technology making a difference on so many levels. And if you have a story that you know about or a story that you'd like to share, head over to our website. That's komando.com. And at the bottom of every page, there's a link that says Contact Us. Ever wonder if your phone is really safe from hackers, scammers, and snoops? Well, in my DIY security tip, I'm going to share with you some valuable information that you're not going to want to miss. Next, here on Komando. All right, so let's go ahead and do our digital life hacks tip. And every week we put one of these together for you. And this week we're going to talk about Amazon Prime, because there are things that you should be doing with your Amazon Prime account that you're probably just not tapping into. Like, first of all, Amazon Prime Wardrobe. This is a pretty innovative product from Amazon because what looks great on the screen could look really awful in real life. You know what I'm talking about. So with Prime Wardrobe, you pick between 5 and 8 items of clothing and accessories. They get delivered to your home. If you like some of them, you keep them. If you don't, you just ship them back, no cost. You're only charged for the clothes that you keep. Next from Amazon is Twitch. And you're like, what is Twitch? Okay, Twitch is really a place if you are into video games and content. And you can get a free subscription to a new web channel every month. You get exclusive emoticons and chats and good things like that. Now, what about Woot? Woot is interesting. It's a place where you can go to get a deal of the day just on one thing every single day. They also offer lightning deals from Amazon. And if you're a Prime member, you actually get a 30-minute head start on whatever that deal is. You're going to find steep discounts on HD TVs, headphones, laptops, and more. And then Woot has this thing that they call the bag of crap. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's where they put a whole bunch of stuff in a box for $10. You don't really know what you're going to get, but some of it might be good, I guess. Now, what about X-Ray? Oh, you're like, hey, I didn't know about X-Ray. See, that's why you want to listen to the show. With X-Ray, you tap your tablet screen, click up on your TV remote, or move your cursor while a video is playing on Prime Video, and you get all kinds of things, information about the actors, trivia, even a character bio, which comes in handy when you're watching a large cast such as Game of Thrones. If you got kids, you want to look at the Prime Book Club for kids, because basically what you get is a box of books, and you can keep whatever you want, and each box costs $22.99. Shipping's free in case you want them all. If you also shop at Whole Foods, because Amazon owns Whole Foods, is that you also get discounts there. You get an additional 10% off of anything that's on sale. And to get your savings, what you have to do is download the Whole Foods app. Then you've got various delivery options too, because Prime members always get free shipping. And you can now get free same-day delivery or free one-day shipping, which is just amazing to me that now we live in a time where you can go online, buy something, and then have it directly delivered to your home in your hand in less than an hour. Crazy stuff. We've got links to each one of these perks in case you want to check them out. Free for the taking, head over to the website. That's komando.com, Komando.com. And once you're there, hit that Show Picks button right on the homepage. All right, it's time now for our DIY security tip of the week, and we put one of these together for you every single week. And this week, I thought it would be prudent to talk about all the hackers, the snoops, and the intruders that want to see everything on your phone, because let's just face it, your phone really is just everything that your computer used to be, but now it's portable and you can carry it all around. So let's start at number one. Use phone tracking apps. Okay, technology can help make it a lot easier to keep tabs on where your device is. You have a number of apps that allow you to track the location. You got mSpy and Life 360, but here's the deal. You also have it in your Android. If you got an iPhone, you have something called Find My iPhone, and that's fabulous. So anytime you might want to lose your phone, even in the house, you can go ahead and find it. Number two is you want to change your phone password. Now, by default, Apple is no longer requiring 4-digit PINs. Now you can get a 6-digit PIN. On Android, you want to go into your security and location, and that's where you want to have a pattern in lieu of a password. That can be even harder for an intruder to guess. Number three on our list is you turn on guided access on your iPhone or screen pinning on your Android. Here's what it is. Sometimes the most intrusive people on your phone are the people closest to you. That's your kids. So who hasn't handed their phone to a bored child just to keep them entertained? Now, if you have an iPhone, there's a way for you to restrict what the kids or anyone else with access to your phone can do. It's called guided access. On Android, you can also lock your phone to specific apps with screen pinning. This is also really handy when you want to hand somebody your phone and say, hey, you want to see this picture, or here's video that I took. Number four on our list is to use remote wiping in case of emergency. Let's say you lose your phone and you're like, what do I do now? I got everything on it. Well, on Apple, there's a way for you to sign onto the iCloud and erase your iPhone. And then on Android, you have to first have Find My Device. You download that, and then you register your phone on it. And then you can go ahead and just wipe your device remotely. 5 on our list is really important, a VPN, a virtual private network. You should always have that on your phone, especially if you're using public Wi-Fi. We tell you how to get it, which one we recommend. And finally, use a Faraday bag that locks RFID signals. You're like, what's a Faraday bag? It's a special bag that actually goes back to the origins in electric engineering, but it's applicable to a range of fields from nuclear defenses to digital privacy. And basically what it does is it prevents all the radio waves like cell phone signals. And so if you have it in that bag, nobody can have access to your phone. And in case you're wondering, hey, that sounds really great. How can I learn more? Well, silly, look no further than the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. That's Komando.com, of course. And when you're there, hit that Show Picks button right on the homepage.
Stand by, control room. Take.
So is your family spending too much time on their screens? Well, there's a new coach out there to help you, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. I'll explain next here on Komando.
Fade to black.
Aren't you just so sick and tired of the kids in your family having all their faces stuck in some screen? Well, parents are so frustrated by the kids using smartphones, social media, and video games every minute that some have hired so-called screen time coaches. That's right. Just like you might hire a soccer coach for the kids, there are now screen time coaches who meet with parents and kids to come up with a no-tech plan for families who just spend too much of the day on their phones and Fortnite and tablets, TVs, laptops, and computers. The coaches meet with parents and kids to tell them to do things that don't have a screen, like painting, maybe playing outside, jumping rope, or maybe even walking the dog. Screen time coaches make up to $250 an hour, and the coaches say they need 8 to 12 sessions to come up with the best no-tech plan for the kids. Well, I'll tell you one thing. If this TV thing ever bombs, I know what my next gig is going to be. All right, keep your digital know-how going and find your local station that broadcasts my radio show, along with more DIY tips, videos, free newsletters delivered from me to your email address, and ebooks on our website. That's Komando.com, of course, and thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching. Now, a few things. Don't forget to click the like button and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. And for more digital know-how, check out all these other great links.